This video is part of the Better Golf at Home series. This series within the Better Golf at Home series has to do with learning to stop hitting behind the golf ball. In part 1, we'll discuss low point and smash factor and why those matter in terms of your contact with the golf ball. In part 2, we'll discuss how to practice. In part 3, I'll offer some helpful training aids as well as drills to help you hone your ability to strike the ball better. This video is dedicated to Todd from Calabasas. He requested some content on what to do as a newer golfer to help him hone his full swing and get off on the right foot. He asked about maybe making some partial swings, and so I want to address that. Todd, thanks for the question. Hope you enjoy. I absolutely think partial swings are a great way to learn to make better contact. In fact, one of the most important things that you need to learn to get the golf ball to go anywhere. I want to take a look at an accomplished golfer's golf swing so that we can begin with the end in mind and understand why we're doing the drills that we are and where we're going with those drills. You're going to notice that there's a triangle naturally formed by the two forearms and the chest. What you're going to see is that's more or less intact through the entire golf swing, but we're going to talk about how you can train it for the bottom 3/4 of the swing. Okay, so what I mean by that is somewhere about here where the left arm gets parallel to the ground, all the way through to where the arms get parallel to the ground again, and the club's about chest height. Okay, so we're going to talk through those positions real quick. So a lot of the things that we're going to try to do are to move that triangle all together. You'll see in the early part of the swing, here it is, that triangle's intact. The forearms don't rotate to the right. The club is more or less just behaving in a way that's driven by the chest. Okay, we're going to go a little further. There's maybe a subtle amount of hinge happening here in the wrists, but if we just focus on the triangle here, it's still more or less intact. Now, with a full golf swing and with the examples that we're looking at, you don't have to be exactly triangular. Right? It's just like the arms are going to stay connected to the chest. They're still out in front of the chest. Do they literally stay in that position the entire time that you're swinging the golf club, especially when we build to a full swing? No, but the sensation may be that it is. And certainly some of the drills that we're going to do are trying to get you feeling those sensations. The other major factor is that he's got his pressure shifted over to his left leg well before his club gets to the golf ball. That helps with the low point number that we're going to discuss. Okay, so what happens when he shifts that pressure forward is it also brings his belt forward. His belt buckle is a big indicator of where his low point could be, as well as his chest. His chest here, his sternum, is more or less right on top of the golf ball. So if those two things have moved to where they are, where he is, he's in a great position to then lean his club shaft forward. So I'm going to trace that in a different color so it becomes easier to see. Trace his club shaft in red here. And you're going to see that his hands are ahead of the golf ball as he's striking it. Trace it once more here as if we get to a frame later. So all of those things add up. The pressure forward into the left foot, the belt buckle, and the sternum on top of or in front of the golf ball, and the shaft leaning forward. Those all contribute to solid contact, which is a fundamental and a foundational element that we're going to try to train pretty early on so that you can be successful in your full golf swing. And I've got low point listed here. I've also got smash factor, and then I've got the total distance here just for reference. Let's start with the low point and what that means. The sweet spot of your club is going to basically draw an arc down as it was coming through the golf ball. So it's working its way down before it reaches the golf ball. It would find the golf ball about here where the club face is now, and it continues downward until it reaches its lowest point, 6.4 inches after the golf ball. Now what that means is you're very likely to strike the golf ball before you strike the ground. And in getting your low point that far in front of the golf ball, you're more likely to take a divot, and that would help you to make better contact. The next number listed here is smash factor. Now, smash factor is the ratio between the club speed and the ball speed. So the higher that ratio, the faster the ball is traveling once it's struck by the club face. The lower that ratio, the slower the ball is taking off of the club face. The higher the smash factor, the more distance. The lower the smash factor, the less distance. So it's a very good indicator of whether you struck the ball solidly or not. A short iron or a wedge is probably the easiest way to train this at first, but obviously we need to graduate and use the other golf clubs that you have in your bag as well. And what I've talked about so far between the triangle and the chest, as well as the shaft lean and the pressure, that's consistent through the whole bag. Now you'll see he's just past impact and he's still got that triangle intact. The pressure's over on the left side. He's now turning his belt and turning that chest in a connected way all the way till the point where his connection has to break, because he's not going to turn too much farther than about here. His arms will start to naturally fold. But what we're going to focus on is training you to get to this point where the chest is facing the target, the arms are out in front of the body, the pressure is over on the left side, and we've struck the ball solidly. Those are our goals. Here's more or less where I'd like to have you achieve a swing where you get about left arm parallel to the ground. We've created an L shape here with the club. The pressure moves forward. You strike the ball solidly. You finish with your arms out in front of the chest, and you hold your balance there. When you really have completed this series of drills and you get to a point where you're accomplished in what you're doing, I'd like you to be able to hit a shot like this and hold your balance for the count of 3. Finishing in that great balance is another major contributor to you being able to strike the ball solidly. Make sure that you watched all 3 videos in this series to make sure that you can stop hitting behind the ball. A link to the playlist should start to appear on your screen right about now. As always, I appreciate you taking your valuable time to watch my content. I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe with notifications so you don't miss any videos coming out soon. Take care.